You slept 8 hours, you wake up, and it's like you slept 4 hours. You get through the day on fumes, hit 3 p.m. like a wall, and go to bed exhausted, only to do it again tomorrow. And somewhere in there, the thought arrives, maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe this is just who I am. It isn't. Constant tiredness is a symptom, and symptoms have causes. Today, we're going through the 5 real ones, in the order you should actually check them, because most people fix the wrong one first and then conclude they're broken. Here's the first mistake. We treat tired like a single thing. One problem, one fix. Sleep more. But tiredness is more like pain. Pain isn't a diagnosis. It's a signal that could mean 20 different things. Same with fatigue. There's tired because you didn't sleep enough. Tired because your sleep was broken. Tired because your body clock is scrambled. Tired because something medical. And tired because your mind never stops. 5 completely different problems, and they all feel identical from the inside, which is why just sleep more fails for so many people. If you're tired for reason 3, more sleep does almost nothing, and then you assume it's you. It isn't you. It's the wrong fix. 'Cause 1, your sleep is long enough but broken. Sleep isn't one flat state. You cycle through stages, light, deep, and REM, roughly every 90 minutes. Deep sleep is physical restoration. REM is where your brain processes emotion and consolidates memory. You need both, in enough cycles. Now, anything that fragments the night chops those cycles up. Alcohol, a late, heavy meal, a hot room, your phone, a partner, a noise. Here's the cruel part. Most of those wake-ups are so brief you don't remember them. So your tracker says 8 hours. Your memory says you slept fine. But your brain got a broken version. 8 hours of interrupted sleep are not 8 hours of sleep. If that's your cause, more hours won't fix it. Fewer interruptions will occur. Cause 2, you're sleeping at the wrong time for your body. You have an internal clock, and it doesn't just control sleep. It sets your temperature, your hormones, and your alertness across 24 hours. That clock is set mostly by light. Bright light in the morning anchors it. Bright light at night shifts it later. So here's the modern trap. Dim, indoor mornings. Bright, screen-lit evenings. Your clock drifts late, but your alarm doesn't. Now you're forcing yourself awake during your body's biological night every single day. That's not a sleep shortage. That's jet lag without the holiday, and you can't sleep your way out of it. You have to move the clock, which is mostly a light problem, not a willpower problem. 'Cause 3, and this is the one people skip, so I'm putting it in the middle, not the end. Sometimes persistent tiredness isn't a habit problem at all. It's a medical one. There's a real list of common, very treatable things that show up as I'm exhausted all the time. Low iron, an underactive thyroid, sleep apnea, where your breathing repeatedly interrupts your night without you ever knowing. Blood sugar issues, vitamin D or B12, certain medications, and depression, which very often shows up as fatigue first, before mood. Here's why this matters so much. If it's one of these, then the perfect bedtime routine, the magnesium, the discipline, none of it will work. And when it doesn't work, people don't conclude wrong cause. They conclude, I'm broken, I'm just lazy. So, if you've been genuinely, persistently exhausted for weeks despite decent sleep, please just get it checked. A basic blood test rules out a lot. If you're a loud snorer who wakes up unrefreshed, ask specifically about apnea. This isn't me telling you something's wrong. It's me telling you it's worth knowing, because most of these are fixable, and no amount of willpower substitutes for the right answer. 'cause 4. Your body rested, your mind didn't. Fatigue isn't only physical. Sustained mental effort has a real cost, and there's a specific version of it that almost nobody accounts for. It's not the work, it's the switching. Every notification, every tab, every half-finished thought you carry around, each one leaves a bit of your attention stuck behind. So you spend the day with your focus fragmented across 15 things, never fully on any of them, and you end up drained without having done anything that felt hard, which is confusing. Why am I this tired? I didn't even do anything today. You did. You did 15 things at once badly for 12 hours. That's not laziness, that's a load problem. And the fix isn't more sleep, it's fewer things open. Cause 5, and it's the sneakiest. You rest constantly. You never recover. Here's the difference. Collapsing on the sofa and scrolling for 2 hours feels like rest. You're not moving, you're off. But your brain is still taking in a fire hose of input. Fast cuts, new information, tiny decisions, and constant stimulation. That's not recovery. That's low-effort work. Real recovery is boring, walking, actually stopping, being bored, letting your mind wander. That's when your brain actually replenishes, and it's the exact thing we've engineered out of our days. So you can technically rest for 5 hours and still be running on empty, because you were resting your body and hammering your brain. So, what do you actually do? Go in this order. 1. If you've been exhausted for weeks despite reasonable sleep, get the medical layer checked first, not last. First, you can't outdiscipline a thyroid. 2. Fix interruptions before hours, cooler, darker, quieter, alcohol away from bedtime, phone out of the room, protect the cycles you already have. 3. Fix your clock with light. Get outside within an hour of waking. Dim things down at night. Consistent wake time, including weekends. 4. Reduce switching. Fewer tabs, fewer pings, one thing at a time. 5. Build in real recovery. One genuinely low-input block a day. A walk, no phone. Yes, it's boring. That's the point. Most people jump straight to 5 or try to brute force 2 and never check 1. Here's what I want you to take from this. Always tired is not a personality trait. It's not a character flaw, and it's almost never laziness. It's a signal from a body that's either not getting enough restoration, or is being asked to run on a broken setup, or is quietly dealing with something medical you don't know about yet. 5 causes. All feel identical, all have different fixes, and the reason you've concluded you're just lazy is probably that you've been applying the right effort to the wrong cause. That's not a you problem, that's a diagnosis problem. So, work the list, in order. Save this one, you'll want to come back to that order. And I'm curious, which of the 5 just landed for you?